Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's another Tuesday night, which means it's another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And we have a full house today. There's a few people popped in as I was running the intro. I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to add the new people as we go. So first off, we have Blair Hoyle. How you doing, Blair?
How's it going?
Not bad. Now, you're a writer on the movie, right?
I am, yes.
And an actor.
Yes. And producer.
Cool.
And
a producer. And a everything.
Yes, pretty much.
And we have a couple people that are returning as well. So we have Daniel John Kearney. How you doing, John? Daniel? Do I call you Daniel John, or like you go by different things? Is it
you can call me Dan. That's all good.
All right, all right. We have Elsie Holt, who we've had on multiple times. How you doing, Elsie?
Good to be back, man.
Yeah. We have Wes Robinson.
What's
up, Wes? We have Molly. Molly, what's your last? Is it Souza or Sosa? Souza. Okay, I was wrong on all parts. And then we have Cullen Lovelock. How you doing?
Guys, how are you?
Not bad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we're going to be talking a bit about the House Among the Trees. The one person that we're gonna have the director on as well, and he's the one who can't come in. I was gonna have him start off by talking about the project. So Blair, you're one of the writers and a producer and actor and a key grip or a best boy of some sort. Do you want to talk a little bit about the story and how this came to be?
Sure. So I guess the origin of it was, I think half the people in here were working on a movie called Phantom Fun World back in March of this year. And Tyler and I were like camera crew on that project. And we were eating at Dairy Queen, which we did like 8 times throughout the course of that project. And he pitched an idea to me. He was like, "Hey, would you want to act in this movie I'm making about these 3 burglars?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Let's do this." And I thought he had a screenplay already written, but he just had a story. And then I was like, "You should get me to write it instead of just acting in it." And he kind of wanted me to do both. And then I ended up becoming a producer, and we've just been, the ball's been rolling since then. The story is kind of difficult to describe because it starts off as one kind of a movie and then slowly transitions into like 3 different kinds of movies. Mm-hmm. 3 thieves break into a mansion to steal some very expensive art and discover something in the basement that they were not expecting to discover. And from there, things get progressively worse, and the night gets progressively more and more out of control for them.
Nice. And the good news is Tyler's actually here, so we have him on. So do you approve of what he just said about this movie, or because you're a director on it, or you're the director on it as well? Would you agree with what he said, or is there anything more you'd like to add to it?
No, he pretty much nailed it.
There you go. And end of the show, guys. Go support it. I'm just kidding. So that being said, it is on Indiegogo right now, and there's a lot of really cool perks, and you guys have like the first 15 minutes of the movie up on the Indiegogo as well, which is pretty cool. I was gonna pull it, but I'm like, that's 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't know if anyone wants to just listen to 15 minutes worth of, because this is an audio podcast as well. So let's go down the line and maybe talk a little bit about your characters and what you guys are bringing to the role, and how much of this movie is actually done too. First off, like, because you have the first 15 minutes, is there more than that done?
So no, that's pretty much it. The first 15 minutes is about all that's done. Nothing more. So.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like a proof of concept kind of thing, especially good for the Indiegogo. So
the first 15 minutes is exactly like it will be in the movie. Nice. None of that will be reshot. So everything that you have seen so far is exactly what you'll see in the first 15.
Nice. And so LC, do you want to talk a little bit about your character in the movie and what you do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into too many spoilery type things, of course, but I play this guy named Kent, and he comes into the story at a certain point when the fit's really hitting the shan, and and then he becomes a part of the whole scenario from there. It's a great script. I mean, that was the thing that when Tyler sent it to me, I thought Blair had really written something really good. And whenever you get a movie like this budget level and everything, and the script is really strong. I mean, that's the one thing that you always have to make sure you have as a good script, because it's sort of like the foundation of the house. If you don't have that, it'll all crumble. So I really think it's going to be something really different. And Blair's description, I think, is quite apropos. Starts one way and then it becomes a whole different thing, and that's pretty exciting. But it's another one of those things you don't want to spoil, because you don't want to spoil what it becomes.
So it switches up. Is it kind of like a From Dusk Till Dawn kind of switch up, where it just like completely just switches off to something absolutely insane, kind of? Yeah, maybe.
That is one of my favorite movies. So
all right, there you go.
That's some influence I carry with me on every project subconsciously.
Nice.
That actually sounds odd, because sometimes it's not like certain movies get stale, but I love when you don't know what's going to happen at any given time, because me and Kevin have watched so many things, so it kind of like everything kind of goes in a straight line, and it's like, okay, I could see this happening. So if it veers off into 15 different tangents or whatever, it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that, because a lot of the times it's like, okay, I've seen this before. This is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. So when it's something completely different, it's like, all right, well, now I'm on the ride like everybody else. So.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, I unfortunately, like when I watch anything, I tend to just not even on purpose, just try to figure it out as it's going. Be like, all right, this is what's going to happen next, and then I'm like, oh crap, I was right. I wish I was wrong, but it is what it is. So Molly, why don't you talk a little bit about your character and what you're going to be doing in the film?
Yeah, I play Haley, and I'm super excited. I love the script too. That's, of course, what always really cements your interest in a project. But I was interested in this project before I even read the script. I was hanging out with the Eye for Eye production team and a couple of other people in the indie film scene. And it's like really refreshing to see a group of people who are bringing so much passion to a project. There's a lot of people making movies for a lot of different reasons, and I think that everyone tied to this project, they're storytellers that have a really good story to tell and the skill to tell it and tell it well. This project's really interesting because I feel like everyone working on this wears like a million hats. Like Blair's a great example. He's like an actor, screenwriter, producer, a little bit of everything. But everyone on this project has like these amazing credentials, and working with like actors who are also writers, or like Dan is acting on this and he's also a producer, and these people who just bring these really intricate perspectives to the filmmaking process. It's super rewarding as an artist to walk into this environment. So I'm super excited. I'm not going to tell you anything about my character.
All right. Okay. We'll have to wait. I understand.
And that's the one thing I want to say with like this podcast. I want to, anybody listening or whatever, anybody who joined us, you got to realize, like, I hope everybody realizes how hard it is, especially in indie film, where everybody has to have like 10 hats to make the film go. Like everybody thinks, oh, every film is this much easier. It's like, no, you realize that, especially in indie film, it's like everybody's got to do 10 different jobs. And, this is how the movies get made. So everybody, but I guess everybody has a thought in their mind how everything runs, but I don't think they have any idea. So I think that's what, whenever we do these podcasts, I hope people tend to realize, anybody that usually comes in here or new listeners, that it's a whole different beast in the indie world, I think.
Yeah. We just know from listening to you guys. We don't know from doing it, but yeah, either way. So just real quick, we have a group of badasses, apparently. You guys are. Sergio's in the chat room. He wants to make sure he says hi to everyone. What's up, Sergio?
Hey,
and
Sergio.
we have Jaron Lewis saying, I love everyone here.
I'm Jaron.
So is Jaron involved in the film as well?
Yeah, Jaron is he's the gaffer. Yep.
And a
There you go.
producer.
As
He
well.
plays under the trees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Cullen, why don't we talk to you a little bit about your character and what you're bringing to the film? I know you can't give any spoilers or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. So I play Matthew Craven. And as everyone's already been saying, I mean, this is just going to be a cast and crew that I'm just going to be blessed to be able to be a part of. You know, I wasn't in Phantom Fun World, so sort of going into it when we were shooting the first 15 minutes, you know, I was sort of the odd one out, but all of them just made me feel welcomed. They made me feel comfortable enough to sort of get out of my comfort zone and really just be able to put in the work. So when it comes to, you know, my character, again, I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, to me, he seems like a character that's very over the top. He has a hard time sort of not being able to let go of control. So I always feel like I have to be in control. And he's just, as you'll see, that he brings a lot of passion and heat, whether you love him or hate him. He's going to be a character that is, you know, very involved. And I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a little tough because I don't want to go, you know, I don't want to take a deep dive into it all and give away any spoilers, but from what you can see from the first 15 minutes, you know, all characters are very passionate in their own way. And I think that's what will be really unique about this is that, like I said, every character has their own sort of unique, you know, aspect that they bring, not just to, you know, set to be able to work hard and be able to get the, you know, produce everything that we want to do, but also within the film, you'll be able to really see how they each sort of shine in their own way.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, Josh Graves wants to say, hey, everyone. And Sergio is asking for a trailer. There isn't a trailer because the movie's not made yet, Sergio. But if you go over to the Indiegogo, I mean, also it's on the YouTube page as well. The Indiegogo like campaign trailer. The first 15 minutes of the movie are there, so you can really kind of go and see like style wise what you're in tune for, and you know it's it looks really good. I watched it earlier today, and it definitely looks really good. And I like the whole burglar mask thing. I'm sitting there trying to figure out who's who. But and then you guys mentioned, a couple of you mentioned Phantom Fun World, so that's another thing that I bring it up whenever most of these guys are on the show, is that a lot of you guys are involved in most of the movies that I really want to see that are coming out. So Phantom Fun World is one of them. So that's pretty awesome. And we jokingly have called you guys the new Rat Pack of independent horror. It's like the group that moves around just making cool movies that we all want to see. So this is going to be on the list. So there you go. There's that. I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but
It does.
Hey,
I'm
man,
Rob Lowe. I'm
as
the
long-
Rob Lowe.
as long as I can be Joey Bishop, I'm fine.
all right.
I
So
thought
you're-
we were going like Sinatra, like you're the
Yeah.
Rat Pack because of all
Yeah,
the drugs.
so
and
Blair's
the
thinking of the Brat Pack, I think. The Brat Pack is the one that was in the 80s. Yeah.
Well,
Did you not say Oh, you said Rat Pack.
Yeah.
I'll be Sinatra then. Can I be
Oh,
Sinatra?
What if the Brat Pack and the Rat Pack like got together? There's way more of you anyways. So that works out.
And the one thing too I'm excited for is talking about character development too. Like you were saying, you know, you're either gonna love me or hate me, and that's a good thing because I want to feel something. Because sometimes it's just like, wow, okay, this person ended up dying, and it's like, oh well. But then if you have that either, okay, you like them a lot, and you're like, oh no, and then you hate them, it's like kind of giving them.
well, that's the thing about Blair's screenwriting is it's really authentic. I feel like I read a lot of scripts, and you know, as a writer myself, like shit, dialogue's hard. We've all been there, but he brings so much authenticity and this level of familiarity with the characters that exists between the characters and between the characters and the audience kind of immediately, that because of there's this authenticity, you feel like you know them, you feel like that's someone you were friends with, that's something you would say, which makes that so, you know, again, it's like really great as an artist to get to engage with those texts, but I'm so excited for people to see it because it's so fun when you care about the characters and you're like, I hope this guy gets murdered, or like, God, I hope
In there.
When they get killed, you're like, yes, this is awesome. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, Wes, and I don't agree.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Wes, we didn't ask you about your character at all, right? There's been too many people. I don't remember who I talked to.
No, you haven't. No, not yet.
I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about your character a little bit?
To kind of piggyback off what Molly said, I think what's cool about what Blair did specifically with House Among the Trees is like, I get the feeling that I know Jack and Craven and Corey and how that they work together instantly. I think that's just good writing, but also Jack's a fun character because I feel like he's the first one in a while that I played that that you can see has a soft side to him. He has a heart. Like, he's not doing the best thing, you know, in the first 15, but at the same time, he knows when to when things matter and when things count, and he is trying actively to save this person or what have you that you will see. Spoiler, but yeah. So Jack is he's a fun character, man, and I'm really excited to work with all these guys. And I mean, I had a great time on Phantom with these people, and then just Watchdog with LC and a bunch of the same crew. So I mean, these people they work their asses off, and they're all very, very talented and multi-talented. And yeah, it's an honor, honestly, to be around them.
Cool, that's awesome. And we have another comment. The script kicks ass. There we go. That's from Dane. So Daniel, we haven't heard from you a little bit about your character. And Daniel's old school. We go way back to years at cons, just doing the same thing, waiting in line to meet people, and you've just taken what you've gotten and rolled with it. And I'm very I'm happy for you. I'm glad to see that you're doing all these projects. It's awesome. So yeah, you want to tell us about this one a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, I saw I can't say too much about the character, but basically I'm very excited about it. Different than something I've ever done. Kind of happens when all the shit hits the fans, which is very exciting. But what happened, like Wes had just mentioned, Watchdog. I was so excited because I saw the first 15, and I knew that everybody would be working together. I was like, oh man, I gotta talk about this project. And then it ended up working out. So I was so excited to be a part of it and honored that I was asked. Funny story about that. I think Tyler can help with that. So when I was up in the air, I had made ZD for everybody on the set of Watchdog. And so he had kind of known that I was like really interested in the project. I was like really loving the first 15, and I made baked ziti, and I found out when I passed out sleeping that he decided to put ranch dressing all over my baked ziti. And I was like, what the hell is going on with that? So Jake and I said, oh, just play it on him. Act really angry and mad that you put the ranch on his baked ziti. So I just went full throttle, baby, and I started screaming at him, trying to act really angry about the baked ziti. So I guess the acting worked. So I was happy that he asked me to come on board. So just happy to be here and just really honored to work with everybody and meet everybody, and very grateful. I never take it for granted.
Ranch on baked ziti.
He makes a damn good ziti.
That ranch on, man. That
good enough to put ranch on.
In all fairness, something I learned on Watchdog was Tyler puts ranch on everything.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we have a comment that Tyler loves his ranch.
My mom, let's go.
Well, I guess like some people like to put ketchup on everything, so I guess you just take the ranch and put that on everything.
Ranch
or hot sauce. Well,
I put hot sauce on everything, yeah. So
did you bring your own ranch? Does BYOR apply?
You get like one of you go to like the wholesale club, and you get the big pump one that you would carry that. You have a trunk full.
Yeah. Or either that, you have like a flask in your pocket, and instead everybody thinks you're drinking, you got a little ranch. You put it on.
I would have done it.
It's a bit too much.
So I got a question for Blair. Did you, when you were writing the script, did you have everybody in mind to make it as easy? Like Molly was saying, it almost like it was meant for them. Did you have that in mind, or it was just like you kind of had an idea of who you might have wanted for the?
When we first started talking about the project, Tyler had already pretty much already cast Cullen and I, and we knew we wanted Wes because we had just worked with him. And I think it was just Tyler and I. We just Skyped Wes one night or Zoomed Wes one night. We're like, "Hey, we want to make this movie," and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." He was actually there. And so I started writing the first 15 minutes with the three of us, knowing it was the three of us. And so that was fairly easy. And then when I went to finish the feature, I knew we wanted Molly, and LC's role was written specifically for him as well. So everyone here pretty much was and I don't know Dan yet. Hi, Dan.
Yeah.
I know everyone
Nice to finally meet you.
Dan is going to be a part of this movie, and I had heard only great things about him. So
and his big ziti.
Yeah, and his big ziti.
Thank you.
That's going to be a requirement on set. But yeah, so the Indiegogo is live right now. A lot of really cool perks in there. I saw, and they're not sometimes some perks are out of reach for some people, but there's a lot of, you get a lot of cool stuff for not a lot of money. So, but that being said, if you can afford more, go get killed on screen for $450. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had $450, I'll go get killed. I'd be happy. But yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. So I see this particular campaign ends it says 7 hours left. Do you guys have any additional campaigns coming up?
I do not in particular know.
Yeah, I have a ranch dressing campaign.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Hidden Valley. Is this going to be sponsored by Hidden Valley? This movie?
Yeah.
I will take a Hidden Valley sponsorship.
Yeah,
I would too.
Sorry about bringing up the ramp.
That's great.
Yeah, a really good perk. You could just get all of Tyler's empty ranch dressings and just have him. There will be about 10 or 12.
Yeah,
just sign them.
Screen used ranch, that's a
knife used.
And I guess ranch is a Midwest thing. 100% is what we have.
Yeah.
It's like an American thing. It feels damn right patriotic to put ranch on everything.
Yeah.
Things a vessel to eat ranch. French fries are just a vessel with which you consume ranch. Yeah.
Yeah, the bottle, it just goes right in.
Yeah.
Every time ranch an American Eagle.
You can call the movie. We're just going to go back to LC's Fit Hit the Shan. You can call the movie that. Have it be specifically about ranch. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Anyways,
could be
Tony.
that's the name of the behind the scenes documentary. When the Fit Hits the Shan, the making of
Totally.
I like that.
House Among the
Sure.
Trees.
And then in brackets, it just says a ranch love story or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Tony, I interrupted you to bring up ranch again. So
Well, pretty well.
We're
I
gonna
was
ask
going to bring up something too. I was just going to say, Easter eggs in there. You just got to have empty ranch bottles somewhere, somewhere.
Yeah. Now
It's just I see one there. It's okay, drinking game. It's how many ranch bottles did you see in this? It's I see one there. So, I was going to bring up ranch anyway, but.
So what is what's the goal as far as timeline? You have the first 50 minutes done. When are you looking to actually get into full-fledged production on this, and what's the plan?
Yeah, so we actually start shooting in November. So we've got all that locked down. Shooting is ready to roll, and then shortly after that, I'm editing. So Blair and I probably will co-edit. So we'll pretty much get right into it right after that, and. There's a couple festivals that we're hoping to try to get stuff submitted to shortly after. So we're just going to kick it in high gear after that.
Nice. And just real quick, because I guess Josh Graves has to bounce, but he's saying he wants to say excited for the film. Nothing but love and support for everyone. See some of you soon. So there you go.
Thank you.
And the other comments I won't mention because they mentioned ranch, and we'll go back into that downward spiral. But yeah. So you were talking about what your plan is for the movie. Is this something that, I know it's probably way too early to tell, but is this something that you're going to be able to maybe expand on or anything? Is there any ideas of if this is an ongoing kind of thing, or is this something you want to continue?
Honestly, like I don't have an answer specifically for that, but like Blair and I have talked about, like, what ifs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, if people dig it and it makes sense to do it, then I mean, totally. I think people are really going to dig this film. I really do. Blair is killing it. And I mean that like with my entire heart. Like, Blair is killing it. Like, this writing is crazy. And I think it's just different than what's out there, especially like in the indie scene. I think all the stuff that's recently been coming out, Watchdog, Phantom, stuff like that, I think are really different. And I'm just excited overall. So,
and what about?
I was going to say,
Tony.
It's good to see the indie scene growing. I mean, as much as we said it, like the pandemic was, bad in essence, but for movie wise, I think it kind of jump started the indie scene a lot more because the big movies weren't getting made. So now I think, back then it was just a little chirp, the indie scene, but now I think it's definitely becoming more of a thing. We were talking, Terrifier and Terrifier 2 just got a big release. So I think indie films, I mean, especially if they're written right, I think it's gonna definitely, maybe not neck and neck with the big budget films, but definitely creeping up on it. And I think people are finally opening their eyes to different stories and stuff. Everybody's kind of getting bored with the same stuff. So now hearing something new's coming down the pike, it's definitely going to be awesome. I'm excited for it.
I could not agree more with you.
Oh, so sorry.
Go ahead, Cullen.
I was just going to say, one thing about the script that really stood out to me is that even though we're considered sort of like a horror, sci-fi sort of genre, one thing that I really liked about the script is that I think that you guys will see as well is that there is an element of like a comic relief throughout the script and throughout the just like the plot of these three burglars, and that was something that was really that's what took me by surprise with it in a great way, of course, because a lot of times, especially in with like independent films, you just it's stagnant, and with this script, it really allows the audience to just have and capture a whole different whole bunch of emotions. It's not just action and horror and sci-fi and whatever, but there's also that element of some comic relief there, and I think that's really important to bring to the table when you're screenwriting. And I think something that what Blair did is phenomenal. So that's one thing that also stood out to me that I think you guys will also be able to see once the film comes out as well.
Totally. I mean, that's the thing. We're talking about character development, and you got to feel like you can connect with some of these characters sometimes, and that would help me connect with a character is because I joke around with my friends all the time, so I would want to see that. So that's pretty great. So that's pretty big. So Blair, is this your like first feature like script?
Or this is like, I mean, it's difficult to say because you have the screenplays you write, and then there's a percentage of those that sell or are optioned, and then a percentage of those are made. So this is probably like number 30 that I've written, and like roughly number 8 or 9 that's getting made. So
that's still pretty great.
Yeah, I have fairly good odds.
No, that's pretty good. No, I mean that's another thing that Tony and we don't know that end of it. Like we just assume like, all right, this is my one script. Let's go make this movie. Like that's not how it is. You have to like farm it out there and stuff like that. So that's pretty. That's interesting to hear. I'm curious though. So the scripts that didn't get picked up.
That's the good thing about a lot of independent film. And I mean, I wrote this for this budget and knowing like, Tyler and I, one of the first conversations we had was like, we're making this movie if we have to make it for $500 in my backyard. Like we were going to make this movie. So it was all about writing around like, what do we either have access to or can gain access to for very little money? And still telling an interesting story, like not compromising that. But like I've been around the block long enough to know that if you like start off like interior spaceship, that's a tougher sell than interior apartment. Like a lot of people are looking for movies they can produce for under $1 million, and when you have these like very high concept locations, that takes a huge chunk of the budget away right off the bat. So I've learned over the years like how to make things that are within reason. But I've also written stuff that I have a fairly good idea is not going to get made, and I'm just trying to hold on to hope that you know.
Maybe,
I wrote a
maybe
World War
one day
II
something will click, and then be like, we need to check out this guy's other stuff, and then
Yeah,
someone with
and
like $1 billion will be like, let's do this.
that the good thing is like I still have them logged away. So if I ever become famous for writing a smaller budget movie, and you know, Paramount Pictures comes calling.
Like, well, I do have some other stuff that's right over here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Depending on how serious you want the spaceship movie to be. I mean, I've seen plenty of like low budget, you know, sci-fi that they pull it off fairly well. You know, I mean, it's made to be cheesy, but
just
you know.
wait for like the 10th of any like genre film, or like you have Jason in space and Leprechaun in space and stuff like that. So just wait for like Sharknado in space, and you got it.
Well, that's what the House Among the Trees 2 is, in space.
Oh. House Among the Trees in space. Space trees. Yeah, that works. I don't know.
But I think the one thing too, Kevin was mentioning like the Rat Pack and all that. But the one thing I think, like in my head, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I could be completely wrong. But, you know, working with each other, I think that might take a little bit stress off, you know, a project. But then the other thing is, you know, the more you know people, the more people they know, kind of deal. So if you're ever looking for certain ideas or things, you know, everybody kind of knows everybody. So that could help too as well. Like if you gain relationships and grow, you never know, I need this. Well, I know this person, or something along those lines. Like the connections grow as you know, friendships grow, kind of deal. So
this film literally would not be happening if it was not for Phantom Fun World. Like, for sure. I would not have met pretty much all of these people. So I absolutely can say it wouldn't happen without it. So like all these different things that we're working on, they lead and they stem out to so many different things. I'm so grateful for that as well. You're hitting it right on the nail on the head.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty great. I mean, like for real, like I'm not blowing smoke, but there's the list of movies that most of you guys have been involved in and that aren't out yet are things that I'm just like, all right, when's this happening? Like when Terror Trips finally came out, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm all over Terror Trips now. And now, like, there's other stuff that are wrapping. Like Elsie, you just wrapped on Watch Dogs, right?
Watchdog, yeah.
Yeah.
Watchdog. Watch Dogs is the sequel.
That's right.
I was just jumping ahead.
In space. Watch Dogs in
space.
space.
The trees. So like and you were saying a little bit beforehand, you just wrapped on that. So it's you know, it's exhausting, and you know, you get a lot into it, but now you're going at it from the other. I'm not going back to the acting side of things on this one. So I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of a break, although that would be extremely stressful to me if I had to act in a movie. I'd just be paranoid and terrified the whole time. But that's why you guys make movies and I watch them. So yeah, like what just real quick, if you want to touch on Watchdog a little bit, you just wrapped on it. What's the plan with that? Like any idea, like turnaround time before we may be able to see it?
Yeah, I mean, the movie will be done within half a year, and I want everyone to see it as quickly as possible. We had a really good relationship with Time's Up, with the Popcorn Frights Film Festival down in Miami, Florida, and I'm pretty sure maybe next year that'd be a good place for it, either to a premiere or show. Like I say, we just wrapped it a little over a week ago, and so now at this point we're going into post-production. I've already seen some things cut together, and it's really, really, I'm very proud of the movie, and I'm very proud of everyone who was involved. I couldn't be any happier, and a lot of the people on this screen were involved. So
Watchdog kicks some solid ass. Like, for real, it is good. It
was incredible.
I do think that when people see it, you're going to be surprised by what you see, and there's stuff in it that's really powerful. I was not. I mean, when you work with people who do such great work, both behind the camera and in front of it, it just makes it so much better. And a lot of the same crew and stuff is actually working on this movie, House Among the Trees, and some of the same cast. So, they'll bring the same energy and the same dedication and just make this fantastic as well. So, I mean, it's a great group. That's the group I would work with on any movie that I direct, certainly, between Jaron, between Tyler, Wes as actors. Of course, Daniel John Kearney has produced 2 of my films. Felissa Rose produced 2 of them. And we'll get Blair in there too. We're Rob Lowe down there. Yeah. Got to get Rob Lowe in there.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just wanted to piggyback off what everybody was saying too as well. The pipeline overall, I don't want to go on a tangent, but the pipeline of all the independent horror films that are coming out is just unbelievable right now. And like you were saying before, it's exciting to see everything come to fruition. And so many of them just absolutely look incredible. So it's a very exciting time for independent, not just independent horror, but independent films as a whole,
Well, with the big budget, I always, you always have, like a list of movies you're waiting for, and they're all coming out independent. It used to be, maybe you heard of one, and then you got to wait a little bit for it. But now within, I have at least 5 or 6 that I have on my list that I'm waiting for. Like, I never had that before because it wasn't as, out there as much. Like now with a lot of the social media and stuff, I mean, you hear about more independence every other day as opposed to, you hear about this one little chatter here, but how many in the pipeline, I hear about one almost every other day. I'm seeing pictures of different things. So I'm excited for not only, the films here, but independent film in general. So.
Yeah.
Kind of touching on the on that, and actually the success of things like Terrifier 2, where they got the limited theatrical release and it went very well. Do you guys, as filmmakers and actors in independent film, do you see like distribution changing maybe a little bit, where that may be more of an option for you guys down the road, as opposed to just like streaming or like a small run of physical media or whatever? Like with seeing the success of that, do you think that the tides are changing for distribution as well for you guys? I don't know who I want to start with.
Yeah, I think that the success of that Terrifier 2 opening financially is really encouraging for independent film, horror especially, because that all you really need is for the people in charge to see what you're doing and go, oh wait, that made money, so it's a possibility, and then next thing you know, they're like, well, okay, we'll try it with this, we'll try it with that. So that's really encouraging.
Nice.
Changed the game.
What was that?
I said it really changed the game. I really believe in my heart that that's really going to start. It just elevated everyone and everything, and it's really wonderful to see, and it's going to make a big impact, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that.
I hope so. I mean, because I'll watch a movie over and over again on like a TV or even on my projector here, but there's something different about seeing it in a theater, surrounded by people you don't know that are reacting the same way or differently. Like you're going to get something different out of it completely. So I don't know. I personally would like to have that experience a little bit more. So fingers crossed that is the case, rather than like the small art cinemas and stuff like that. I mean, those are still cool too, like for film festivals and everything. But I don't know. It'd be cool to give some movies like more of a chance, like a whole weekend or even like a week run or something like that. That'd be awesome.
Well, there's nothing quite like when you've made a movie and you're sitting in a theater and you see everyone laugh at the same time, or you see everyone jump at the same time, or you see there's something about that communal experience that you're never going to get at home. So, to lose it or to not have that option with independent film, I think would be a little bit sad.
Yeah. And I mean, because of the pandemic, things switched everything around. But, like Tony had mentioned, things are really picking up for the independent horror. But movie theaters in general are kind of ghost towns, so it was good to actually see people out for the Terrifier when I went. And, I fingers are crossed for sure, because it was definitely a cool experience, except for the fact that some parents decided to bring a baby to the theater. So whatever, that's not my choice. 10:30 showing, and let's bring a baby in. But anyways, that's just me. Tony, you have anything?
Well, I was going to say the thing that's, I guess, a downfall and a little both is streaming nowadays. It's either, now it's in essence, you can get more eyes on it because of streaming, but then you lose the whole atmosphere. But I guess it all depends on the people, because some people wouldn't go to a theater anyway. They find it easy just to stream it from their house. It's almost like a physical meeting in general. Like the people miss Blockbuster and people don't care. Like it's that experience that you get. It's like a Friday night, or I mean, some people go Tuesday nights or whatever. But it's the experience that you receive, that it's either you love it or it's just another thing. So I mean, I really don't go to theaters that much, but I know you love to go. So I guess it depends on the person.
You should go.
Plus, the movie theater experience has just enhanced over the years. I mean, now you have these movie theaters where like you can dine in and have like you have like a restaurant right there for you. You can go 3-course meal with wine.
Yeah, go there and just dine. Yeah. Watch a movie.
Yeah. You don't have to sneak any snacks in anymore.
Well, that's
for you.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they make all their money, honestly. But you know, whatever it is, what it is.
It's actually funny you were mentioning that, because I did a convention in Austin, and I was there actually with David Thornton, who is a good friend of mine from Terrifier, of course, Art the Clown, and Damien Maffei, and we went to see this movie, and the movie theater had a bowling alley in it.
Wow.
Greatest movie theater ever.
That is pretty crazy, a bowling alley.
Well, it's like a full night. It's like, okay, let's go bowling, let's go eat, and then we'll watch a movie. Or the other way around, whatever.
As long as the bowling alley's not in the middle of the theater, so it's like as you're trying to watch the movie, people getting strikes. But no, that's pretty great. I mean, I think maybe that more theaters have to do something like that. Make something that's a little bit more, like you said, the dine-in stuff. We don't have a ton of those around here, but you know, maybe that would tempt people to go out a little bit more to watch awesome movies. I don't know.
You could.
I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyways,
when the movie does come out, do you plan not only for like film festivals, but do you plan on going for like conventions and stuff?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
This movie will have one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm involved in a movie and the producers or the director just they care about putting it on streaming and getting it right out there, and then I never get to see it in the theater, and it drives me insane. And one of the first things I said to Tyler when we started talking about this movie was like, it will have a festival run, period.
Yep.
And we were on the same page about that. So yes, there will be a festival run for this movie.
That's cool. And we need to see more of that, because I do a lot of cons and I don't see a ton of screenings anymore. Maybe it's again because it's the pandemic and you know people are coming back to it, and it's you know they're opening up a little bit more now. So, but yeah, like even there's a con I'm going to this weekend, and like they're playing like Nightmare 2, and that's it, I think. But they're not playing anything else, and it's like you have all these other filmmakers here. You should like, you know, play their movies. But.
Yeah, I know a lot of filmmakers really just want to get it out on streaming and then move on to the next one, and they don't really see value in the theatrical experience or the convention. Like, I mean, I've met a lot of like good friends and people who support my work at cons over the past decade.
Just the networking alone, like off of just having your movie play or even just being, you know, like that's huge. And especially for like independent films, I think like taking them to festivals and whatnot, I think that's like huge.
That's how I met Daniel, was at cons. So yeah, I agree. You meet cool people at cons. One of these days, Elsie, you haven't been at any cons in my area. One of these days, you'll be a guest at a con, and I can shake your hand and buy an autograph from you. Yeah, same thing with you, Wes.
This man's worked with Al Pacino. I'm just letting you know.
Always, it never stops with the Al Pacino.
Well,
but
Wes, you worked with some pretty impressive people.
Best place. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I was gonna say, Wes, you've worked with some pretty impressive people yourself, so don't start throwing shade. There.
True.
Well, yeah,
not Al Pacino, but that's true.
Yeah. So Dan, you were saying that cons are a great place to meet people.
They are, and I've been coughing if you haven't noticed like crazy. Sorry, but yeah, cons are just the absolute best place to network and meet people, and you know, just like everybody was saying, if you have a film, really get it out there, because word of mouth and really networking and meeting is one of the best ways. And have it at these film festivals. So it's a really special place because, you know, everybody's there for the same common reasons, and you know, everybody wants to chat, everybody wants to talk, and it's great camaraderie, and it's a real great chance for people to work together in a common goal. So conventions all the way. I can't stress enough the best.
And it's like family. There's people like I did a con up in upstate New York like a month or so ago, and I walked in and there's people there that I knew from other cons around here, and I'm like, as soon as I walk in, everyone's hugging each other, and it's like we're all checking in on each other. We haven't seen each other in like 2 years, you know, and it's like old hat, you know.
You got that right, man. You got that right.
The last couple of years, I've been more. I never really went to it, and my buddy, I don't want to say dragged me along the first couple. It's like I went, but just the experience itself, and then it also makes me a bigger fan, especially meeting everybody that are in the movie. I mean, there's been some where it's like less personable, but everybody that I met before, you know, I wanted as a fan then follow everything you do. At that point in time, I meet you, you're down, you're personable. I'm like, okay, in the next movie you're in. I mean, I would do that anyway, but meeting people at cons, it's just me, myself. I'm like, you know, I can't wait for the next project. I'll support it. I do whatever. I mean, so cons are just, you know, a better way to meet your audience too. Some people, like you were saying,
a con is the very reason that I'm sitting here right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah. I went to a con and I met a guy who convinced me to do a movie, Phantom Fun World, and then put me in contact with the director, and he sent me the script and stuff, Tori Jones. But yeah, I mean, I you know, I was living on the East Coast for a while, and I didn't like anticipate doing any acting, or I honestly didn't even think about the possibility of it, just in general, like the availability of it. And what I've learned is there's work. It's a very small community, but like everybody's great, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But that is directly because of a con. Yeah.
Nice.
Which is why I'm confused why no one would want a festival run and stuff, or to do those, because like the networking alone. I mean, you know, just if nothing else, like that.
A festival can like take your movie from something small to something huge. Blair and I talk about this all the time. He can probably elaborate on what it was.
Yeah. I mean, there have been a lot of movies that were made for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, and then play at a Sundance, a South by Southwest, a Fantastic Fest, and then sell for millions of dollars to a distributor. So why you would not want? I mean, you're next.
Take the chance.
And it's still like stuff of legend there. Where, you know, that was a small like independent film and then became, you know, this wide theatrical release.
So you're next.
You're next.
Elsie didn't hear you.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
He's like, no, but you're right, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, now that you mention it, you're right. It's a great movie, and I mean, it doesn't look like it was made for a small budget, you know. So I think that's part of it as well. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that Your Next was made for less than $1 million. Everybody always thinks it's like 3 or 4. But no, I mean, it was made for less than $1 million. And
we know how much you got, LC, but how much was the movie?
You got, like you said, a little less than $1 million.
a little less. Well, that's true. I did get paid a little less than $1 million.
Your definition of little is a different than that, you know. But no, that's right. That got a really big release. So you know. That's true. I wasn't even thinking that. I wasn't even thinking of it as like an independent movie though. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't even consider that just because it seems so much bigger to me. But I'm wrong.
Because it was treated like a real movie by the distributor, which is what Terrifier 2 is, an independent film that's treated like a blockbuster by its distributor. And I think that's a huge part of getting people to a theater. When you treat a movie like it matters and like people should go see it, people will go see it.
Molly, you were saying something and we all talked over you. I'm sorry.
No, I remember seeing Your Next in theater. Like I remember that experience pretty viscerally, and that was like, I mean, indie horror movies have the freedom to break the mold a little bit. They don't, you know, have the same production chokeholds that like larger things have, where a writer makes something and then it gets kind of like bastardized into something that's more presentable to the general public. And I think in indie horror it's interesting because it's just people telling the stories that they want to tell, right? and sometimes those are the cool kind of quirky ones where you don't know what they're doing. It's super exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like in a way too, those are always the ones that are a little bit more risky, just in regard to plot and like the way it develops. Like you feel like you can go a little bit in a different direction than maybe a studio would be safe going in, and I think that's exciting too.
I just saw Black Phone and everyone was all mad at me. I walked out of that. It was like, kill the kid. Show me you. I don't want no pussyfoot around this, sir. We all know what on here. Just show it. But then you're like, they're not going to show that. There's no way they can get away with that.
Yeah, that's a lot of other countries. A lot of other
kids, minimum.
Yeah, but a lot of other countries get away with that stuff. And like I remember, there's a movie called Terrified that I really like, and I think Del Toro was supposed to like make an American version or produce an American version of it. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do this because a majority of the movie there's a dead little kid sitting at a table like rotting. And it's just like that's not going to fly in the U.S. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a great movie. Highly recommend it. It's on Shudder. Go check it out. But that being said, we have 1 billion people in the on the show, so I want to be able to give you guys an opportunity to give your plugs and tell people where they can find you. So let's go down the line. Tyler, where can people go to follow you and like updates on the movie and so on and so forth?
Hidden Valley.
Yeah. So you can we've got a public Facebook page that is for everything, The House Among the Trees, that you can stay updated that way. I'm on Facebook as well. If you want to contact me, I'm on Instagram as well. So it's just my name. You type that in, you'll find that. So
there you go. And go to the Indiegogo and so after the 7 hours is done.
Yeah. After there are like
go to the link now. As soon as we hit end, go to the link and do what you got to do, because then after that you're done. You blew it. So Cullen, what about you?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is @CLovelockDown.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes. It seems like there's a bit of a delay. Sorry.
Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so my Instagram handle is @CLovelockDown, and then you can find me on Facebook as well as just Cullen Lovelock. So I'm there. I'm gonna go ahead and been promoting, the film. I do a lot more on Instagram than I would say Facebook. Need to do better with that as well. But Facebook and Instagram will be my 2 main social media platforms you can find me on.
Cool. And Blair.
I'm Blair_Hoyle on everything. So say hi.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna go Molly. Where can people go to find you?
I am Molly with the bright red hair. You might not be able to tell because of the lighting in here, but that's an Instagram handle, and it's an accurate statement as well.
There you go. And I do think I remember that handle, so I do think you probably were on the show once before, maybe for /Lorette Party or a Phantom Fun World, yeah.
We had
possibly
another little
1 billion people.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
No, it was probably Late Checkout was the movie we did.
Maybe.
It was Late Checkout. I'm not in Phantom Fun World.
Yeah, Molly's not in Phantom Fun World.
Way to bring it up, Tony.
I apologize.
So Wes, where can people go to follow you?
Yeah, Wes.Robinson is Instagram, Facebook, Wes Robinson. Keep an eye out for Phantom Fun World. I think he wants to have it out in March. I hope that's okay to say that. And then also, of course, this, and then Watchdog sometime next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Everybody, you could Instagram, Daniel John Kearney, DJK horror_historian, and best to reach me there. And if you just be on the lookout for just Dark Circles, Watchdog, Time's Up, Late Checkout, so many great projects coming down, and They're coming soon.
There you go. And bakezedi.com is where you can find his recipes. I don't know. Yeah, ranch. Yeah, hiddenvalley.com/bakezedi. What about yourself?
Well, I'm on all the Facebook and Instagram. You can find me on there. If you want to keep track of Time's Up, which is coming out, a film I directed. It's coming out at the end of this year. And Watchdog, of course, which will be coming out next year. But really make sure you go to the Indiegogo for House Among the Trees and snatch up some of those perks. Because as we were saying before, it's only a few hours left, and you got to go in there and get them now. Speak now, forever hold your peace. So
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of really cool perks. Tony, you should jump on that because there is like the movie itself and what have you. You can get posters, you can get T-shirts. Tony's a guy who's very free with his money. I have a mortgage to pay, so I'm not as free.
I was planning on checking it out.
Future perks.
So don't worry about that.
All right. So Tony, where can people go to follow you?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. I do a whole bunch of stuff on there. Tony Has 9 Fingers on Twitter, which I don't know why I keep on saying it, but I don't use it. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which I do not twerk or anything along those lines. I do movie-related stuff. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me, and of course here on the Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday. Whether we have awesome guests like this, or it's just a open horror movie discussion, anything horror related, we'll be here every Tuesday. Kevin.
Just a knuckle on Instagram. Besides this show, I also am part of Black and White Fright, and I almost said Secret Underground Hideout. That show doesn't exist anymore. Violence Buffet, that's the new one. And there's another show that's in the works where we may be a show co-hosted by someone who's in the movie Scream, and we're re-educating her on horror because she doesn't know anything about horror. So that should be fun. But yeah, we'll talk about that when it happens. So thanks for watching / listening, everyone, and go support independent horror and all these fine people. And we will see you all next time. Thanks.
Awesome.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having us, host.
Thank you, everybody.